Hello everyone! Thank you for tuning in to the Wasabi Aquarium channel. Today I would like to go over in detail how to properly clean your tank. When you take a look at an aquarium, the first thing you'll take notice of is probably its design or layout. But if you think carefully, the first thing you are seeing at the very forefront is the glass surface. And you can only see how truly beautiful your layout is and give it its true justice when that glass is squeaky clean. So today, we will take you through how to maintain a clean aquarium as well as things to watch out for when cleaning the surfaces of your tank. So the cleaning procedures that I will be explaining today is actually based on a lot of questions that I receive from our customers, such as how different the cleaning methods are for the silicone and glass layers of the tank, as well as how to prevent the algae from splattering when cleaning the glass layer. So today, I will take you through the most effective way to clean your aquarium in the shortest amount of time. So now let's get right to it and start cleaning our tank. We will only be using two tools. The first one is this melamine sponge, which can easily wipe away dirt and algae. The second item is this scraper. We use the Pro Razor from ADA, as you can see here, but most plastic scrapers from other manufacturers should be fine as well. These scrapers allow you to easily remove algae that have hardened or have become tough, so these will definitely come in handy. I will paste links to these tools in the description below, so feel free to take a look if you are interested. So first things first, it is absolutely necessary to remove all electric equipment and cables such as filters, heaters, lights, and coolers. The next step is to lower the water level. We especially maintain a pretty high water level at our stores, and it'll definitely overflow if I stick my hand inside. Please use this water level as a reference for large aquariums, and for smaller sized aquariums, please make sure to lower the water level even more. So first, let's take our melamine sponge and start cleaning the glass surface like this, by simply placing the sponge inside the aquarium with your hand. One thing to watch out for is if you have any substances on your skin, such as insect repellent sprays, as this can be very dangerous to your water environment. So make sure to wash your hands and arms carefully before you start cleaning. For ladies who have sunscreen on, that would also be dangerous for your fishes, so please watch out to make sure your hands and arms are clean at all times. In terms of the order, it might be best to start at one of the edges so you can keep track of which areas you cleaned. The main thing to watch out for when cleaning the glass surface is the dirt from chlorine. If you don't have any stones that raise the hardness of your water inside this aquarium, like this one, you won't find much chlorine dirt. But if your water is hard due to stones that release minerals, you will most likely find a white line of dirt composed of calciums from the chlorine. If you are having extra trouble trying to get rid of the white chlorine dirt, we have done a video dedicated to cleaning this white dirt in the past, so please take a look from the description below. I believe that your melamine sponge should take care of most of the dirt inside your aquarium. However, if by any chance you have left excess algae lying in your aquarium for a while and they've hardened to the point where it's difficult to wipe off with the sponge, one thing to be extremely careful for is to not press your sponge against the surface with excess pressure and try to forcefully scrape the dirt off with the sponge. This actually could ruin the silicone layer of the aquarium. Glass aquariums are constantly pressurized by the water, and the silicone layers are holding the glass walls together. So if you put too much pressure on the layers with the sponge, you could damage the silicone or even scrape it off of the glass. So please be very careful. I've seen a lot of cases where our customers clean their aquarium a bit too much and too often that it decreased the lifespan of the tank. They put too much effort into cleaning the glass surfaces and the silicone areas with a lot of pressure to make it squeaky clean, but the tank started falling apart and they started leaking earlier than they usually would. So excess pressure can actually lead to excess cost in having to replace your tank, so it is extremely important to use the melamine sponge with care. If your melamine sponge cannot get rid of all of the dirt on the glass surfaces, it's time to switch to the scraper. This is the Pro Razor by ADA that we use at our stores. This edge over here is actually super sharp and could probably cut my finger if I'm not careful, but this helps scrape off any kind of dirt instantly. Of course, any plastic scraper you could find would be feasible and would do the same job, but unlike the metallic Pro Razor, plastic scrapers are softer and the corners become less sharp as you use it, so it is best to replace them every so often. Please also note that metal scrapers like this Pro Razor cannot be used for acrylic tanks. Glass tanks are completely immune to sharp metallic edges of this Pro Razor, but acrylic surfaces can easily be damaged, so it is safest to use plastic scrapers when cleaning an acrylic tank. So make sure to know the type of tank that you own in order to choose the correct tools to clean your aquarium and to not damage them in the process. Next, I would like to move on to cleaning the silicone corners of the aquarium. I have also received a lot of questions regarding how to clean these silicone areas, so I will try to break this down in detail. The silicone areas are actually extremely important and delicate, and damaging these areas can easily lead to water leaks and other severe accidents that could ruin your aquarium, as well as the plants and fishes inside of it, if for example you're absent when the accident happens. So you can see there is some dirt on the silicone corner right here that is connecting the two glass walls. The most important thing to note is to use the melamine sponge. The most often problem that I see is people who use toothbrushes to clean this area, which is very damaging to the silicone. If you're using extremely soft toothbrushes and only gently applying them onto the silicone, that could be okay, but using normal toothbrushes and going back and forth a lot of times with your usual strength can damage the silicone and will also actually cause even more dirt to enter the damaged parts of the silicone, which in the end will make them turn even darker and dirtier. So the most important thing to note when cleaning the silicone areas is to be gentle and to do it as often as possible. Just like the glass surfaces, the longer you leave them, the more difficult it becomes to take the dirt off. Leaving the silicones without cleaning them can lead to even worse types of algae such as blackbeard algae to appear on the silicone, and if that happens, it's almost impossible to take them off without causing any damage. So as mentioned before, it's absolutely necessary to wipe and clean the silicone corners as frequently as possible in order to prevent any extra trouble in the future. As the longer you leave the dirt, the more impossible it becomes to take them off. Of course, the older your tank gets, algae will inevitably start to enter the inside of your silicone, which is completely inevitable, but this can also be minimalized through constantly cleaning your aquarium on a regular basis. This tank that we're looking at now has also been used for quite a few years, so there are some algae and other dirt inside of the silicone, but as you can see, it has gotten cleaner than it initially was. If the sponges are also worn out and rounded, they will not perfectly fit on the corner, so it is important to cut a brand new piece of melamine sponge. The last step is to change the water entirely and we're all set. Some of the algae and dirt that you scrape off will definitely spread apart into your aquarium, so we want to make sure we clean out all of that as well. So in the end, will have both clean glass and clean water to enjoy the most out of your beautiful layout. You can also get rid of other dirt such as fish waste, so it would probably be the most efficient to clean the surfaces, the silicone, and your water all at once. As some of you may know, we have done videos on the proper procedures of water change, so please take a look from the description below. So in total, cleaning the glass surface, the silicone areas, and water change at the end will take roughly about 10 to 15 minutes for a 60 centimeter aquarium. It will not consume that much of your time and energy, so it's really important that you do this on a regular basis to prevent these procedures from becoming more tedious. For beginners, this may take some more time at first, but if you get used to it, you'll get through it in about 10 to 15 minutes total. I would recommend making this a routine and deciding which days of the week you will clean your tank and change your water. This would definitely help maintain a clean view and environment. I hope you found today's video of taking you through the procedures of cleaning the glass surfaces of your aquarium helpful. When you clean the glass surfaces of your tank, you actually realize how clean the actual water is and how dirty your glass has been. At first glance, your tank may look clean, but when you actually take the time out to clean it with a sponge, you do realize how easy it is for your tank to become dirty. Especially if you have algae, the water may turn out to look yellow-greenish, and that becomes almost like a filter that covers the actual view of your layout, so make sure to clean your tank on a regular basis. After you go through the procedures we explained today, you should be surprised at how clean your aquarium actually looks. Last but not least, when cleaning your aquarium, it is also just as important to clean any equipment made of glass, such as glass pipes, because leaving these dirty can also lead to very large and tedious problems. Trust me, I've experienced this firsthand. I definitely understand that you may not want to clean your tank too often, as it's difficult to see the differences at first, and it feels so tedious. However, as mentioned earlier, the longer you leave the dirt and algae, the tougher they become. So when algae first appear, they're soft and very easy to brush off, but they gradually harden and stick to the glass surface as time passes by and eventually becomes impossible to brush off with a sponge. Leaving the dirt can also lead to excess pressure on the scrapers or sponges that can damage your tank, or in the end cannot come off unless you use a metallic scraper, which doesn't work for acrylic tanks. So in the end, the total amount of time and effort ends up being less when you maintain your aquarium on a constant basis. I personally have developed aquariums and layouts for over 20 years, and one thing I can say for sure is that it's an absolute pain when you leave the dirt for a while and pretend like you didn't see them. Wiping the surfaces would take less than 5 minutes of your tank, so I cannot stress the importance of taking 5 minutes out of your day to clean your tank constantly. Even if your layout is beautiful, one dirty glass can ruin the entire view. So let's all try to maintain the beauty of both the inside and outside of your aquarium so that we can always enjoy the most out of our tanks. Please also feel free to leave any questions or inquiries regarding the content we covered today, or any questions around cleaning your aquarium in general. Also, leave any requests on content that you would like for us to cover. We may not be able to reply to each comment individually, but we will try to create new content based on the common questions that we receive frequently, so please also subscribe to the Wasabi Aquarium channel if you found this video helpful. We will continue to create videos that provide help and knowledge around creating and maintaining beautiful aquariums, so your continuous support would very much be appreciated. That is it for today, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.